Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. So we collect the one being payment.
They've already paid. They decided.
Oh, you already collected?
They had a strategy.
Pretty tricky, huh?
So we can see that both teams are roughly with the same strategy. Probably this team has a few more people in the center and less
very different
on the extremes.
You're much
oh, right. Look at that.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. You have twice as much investment in drought as you do in flat. Was that the result of a collective decision?
No. That was the result of you.
So this is one of the things that we like both about games and about art, that out of individual elements, collective patterns emerge. Now, as I said, you can do what you want, you can do what you want, and you can do what you want. But from the outside, if I am the Dutch government who is funding your disaster management operations, and I see that the probabilities are exactly the same here and there, and I see that there's twice as much investment in that than in this, regardless of the outcome, I'm going to challenge the team, saying, you guys are illiterate when it comes to probability analysis. Why should I give you money next round there's a replenishment if I can tell with my eyes that you're doubling the investment in something that is as likely as the other thing? Right? These are the things that we get accused of all the time. Most of the time because we just don't have the time to do the analysis. But even when we do the analysis, individual persons or teams make individual decisions, as they should, that collectively look subpar.
But you may come up with a really good reason to defend yourselves,
right?
Or make up a good reason.
Let's see what happens. And for your information, this is not loaded, as far as we know. It doesn't have remote control. That's what I say. You're right. We're working on it. We're working on a remote controlled loadable die, but it's not this one. Okay, there we go. Enough talking. No moving the feet. No kicking at least. So you guys are safe. Everyone else has to pay for.
You guys.
Well.
So the proper way from now on will be you put your payment on the palm of your hand so we see you're not cheating, and then you flip your hand. Okay? All right. So the guys over there, you just went through one round. As far as I know, based on math, in the second round, even if you get the worst outcome, you should still be alive. You can lose at most 5 beans, but you don't have to pay 6. And if you have 5, you're still game. So second round is about to start. Good luck. You have a few minutes.
Or no, just switch the ends.
I don't know how we do
You don't switch the ends. You need to switch in the middle. Yeah.
We can leave one person here.
Were you on the other end?
No, we're at the other end.
if you want to talk about the camera and film your if the technology. Si tenés ganas y si te lo permite la tecnología.
Me lo permite, pero tengo poca batería. Que por eso estoy conectada.
I'm not a mathematician, but I would like to give being to a higher mathematician.
We're not doing it as agreed to team.
As a team, how much?
Not our process.
You were in the middle.
Oh, you were not.
So you're feel more comfortable over there. Well, that's your fault. Is everybody happy?
Yeah, there's one person who's got one extra beat. You've got 6.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
Around the end, except you.
We have to share. So we don't. Sorry. Where should I go?
No, just stay here. You're our list pay or something.
38 that round.
How can we invest next time?
Because we didn't have the
was a good strategy.
we didn't have the balance on either side.
9,
Let's try to balance it out.
8,
Yeah, maybe we should run where
7,
we want to go and then down
6,
there. Is anyone going to go?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop! Just in time. Very good. So I'll collect your payments here, one being for protection. Thank you very much. Now, what do we see? We see that this team was deliberating until the end and probably didn't have enough time to finish your deliberations. The rains come when the rains come. The rains are not going to wait until you've made your decision. So it's somewhat realistic. On that side, we have 2, so the exact same decision collectively as the previous round. Could you explain us why?
We're trying to distribute the risk amongst all of us. The next problem is going to be what happens when somebody runs out. But at the moment, we're at least trying to average, you know, the possible. So it's not the same to people.
Right.
We've changed
Good
it.
idea.
And those who were in the center are again in the center and just flipped the two ends?
Center people came to the end and people from the end came in.
Can anyone in this team explain if there was any rationale to the resulting choice?
None whatsoever. Just run! Run! Pablo's pushing us again! That's what happened.
All right, so here comes the rain. Again, no kicking. No disaster. So you guys are spared.
Unless we go after each other, then
Now,
if they're all in a...
It's whether it's dependent.
as the next round comes, the scientists have something to say. And you're all so well behaved. Thanks. By this time, I often have to shout for people to listen. Just like I mentioned that El Niño is an unusual warming of the waters in the Pacific that has some consequences, La Niña is the opposite. It's an unusual cooling of the Pacific waters, which reduces evaporation in the Pacific, changes winds around in a different way. And here's what they are saying. They're saying that the chances of drought in this area are much more than usual, and of flood in this area are much more than usual. About 50%. Right? Basically what happened is that the rainy season, the giant cloud that settles here sometime between October and March, shifted south. Or is expected, rather, to shift south, says the scientist. Right? So what we're going to do is that instead of this, which has a 1 in 6 chance, we're going to flip a giant coin. I'm going to throw this up in the air. No remote control, etc. If it falls like this, no problem. No disaster. If it falls like this, it's a drought. You're in this part of the world. Okay? Anything else, if it falls like this, it's a flood.
Where are we? Oh my God.
You are here. So in this season, you have unusually high chances of drought compared to other normal years. But you have, about 50% chance. Maybe this is what happens. So you have about 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. There's a probability I might play 1 or 5.
If you have 5, then you have
0 or
We're taking financially higher rent.
No,
Why do you pay 4 if you didn't?
That's right. It's better to have 5.
If you're here and you pay the 1,
But then you've got
and then the opposite happens and you pay another 4.
But I thought there's only there's
Oh, right.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Here we go. That means trouble. That means drought. What that means is that all of you standing here have to pay 4. All right. So let's do both. You pay me your 4, and you have to pay me your 1.
And we pay for
Your 1. So that's what you have.
So far,
I
do not have a good, record.
¿Quieres conectar con ella? ¿Qué le dices? Porque ella trabaja.
I've been in a very precarious situation.
Muy linda la chica. Muy amigable.
Ahora, quédate.
Te doy tu correo también.
Folks, just to clarify one rule. The only moment at which you can share your beans is if someone suffered a disaster and was not prepared for it and has to pay 4 and has less than 4. At that point you can share. You cannot share before that. Okay? You cannot be so generous. It means trouble. It means too much rain. It means flood. It means a good idea to go to the umbrella. Okay? If it falls like this, it means the opposite. Too little rain. It's a good idea to go to the bucket to collect water. Now, I will not tell you what the chances are. You have to come up with your own estimation of what you think is more or less likely. Like everything else, I will throw it up in the air, it will spin, and it will fall somehow. So you have about 3 to 5 minutes to make your decision.
If it falls like this, it's the umbrella.
This is umbrella, come over here, this is flood.
Okay.
This is bucket, drought, go over there. This is no problem.
Okay.
How will you throw it?
You are saying, aerodynamically, if you let this fall like an arrow or anything with a conical shape, it's likely to fall like this, not like that. So, you know, this is what's magnificent about the real world, that the same freaking object can elucidate all sorts of explanatory predictive theories. Now, you all paid your decision cost of protection. Yes, sir?
I'd like to make one comment. Okay?
Yes.
There's a practical use for this. Okay, and that is the problem of losing things in the home or in the lab. Okay, so, I mean, if you're working with something and you're a bottle top or something and you drop it and it rolls around and goes under some cabinet and you can't see it, then you can think, well, what does this top do? I mean, if it's just a round top, okay, then it will tend to roll straight in some direction. But if it's a cap like that, it flips around and then it spins around, okay, and then you can analyze, well, you know, I saw it there, so therefore it must have, you know, done something or other. So you can use this thing to try to help you find objects.
So we found a new purpose for climate change. I like that. Artists and thinkers always expanding the realm of the possible. So let's see whether your decision was the right one or not.
Why you're popping bottle caps in the lab? We're not going to ask. In the lab, you think.
There we go.
No!
Yes. So, whatever explanatory theory in the center proved to be right. All of you guys who invested, you already paid your bean, right?
Yeah.
All of you are probably wondering, what did I do, or should I be there, etc. Guess what? We keep playing. This is only the 4th round, right, or 5th round. So next,
using that object?
of course, climate has changed forever. So next round is with this guy.
Okay.
We gotta pay.
Oh, yeah.
One,
Tuck the bean yet.
and stop. So now you can no longer move. Pay your protection.
That was the ultimate.
So, what has changed here? This team happens to be behaving in the exact same way as you were behaving with this one.
Yeah.
Roughly 1/3 each, with a few more people in the center. This team, almost the same, except that one of you who used to be there now is here, so we have a brave or something else.
Put all your beans in one basket.
Right. So, are you thinking mostly to be there because of the team strategy, not all beans in one
I have
basket?
faith in the team.
All right. So you're willing to sacrifice yourself? All right. That's an act of generosity.
Diminishing resources.
It's very bleeding heart people in the Red Cross that willing to put themselves last.
It can happen. Now, I want to point out that you look like an entirely different bunch of people compared to just 1 round ago, where there was maybe 80% of people seeking.
But we watched the behavior.
Right. You have a little bit of information, and with that little bit of information, you have massively changed your strategy, protecting much less. In fact, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that, like in the real world, with whatever information you have, you make your decisions. How many beans do you have? 1. So if it's trouble, it's real trouble.
Yeah. But our resources are much less now.
Right.
Okay, I mean,
That's
the team as a whole.
yeah.
So we have to try to distribute our losses.
And it happens.
Some of the interesting reflections was I can't afford to protect myself from like the people who didn't have any more beans.
Right. Are you the only one without any beans left?
I have, you know, I'm not alone.
At least you're beanless after buying protection. Now you chose where to go. Our dear colleague here, she didn't have a choice. She has no beans. Her only choice, even if someone told her, you know, she still will not be able to. That's my team's story. We ran out of beans because of all the disasters that have been happening recently. No new money is coming because money is going somewhere else, or there isn't enough. And we anticipate trouble because some people see that flood is likely, others see other stuff. And that's the way it is. Okay, enough talking? These guys are protected, and everybody else has to pay 4 beans. The moment we show up, if you don't have 4, you're out.
I'm dead. But now you're going to trouble because nobody has 4. That's enough.
You need to borrow.
But the way to win the game is to have the newest people collect the most beans. Yeah, but if we're dead, that's fine from a team perspective. Because we want some people to have a big
So you would need to borrow to stay in. Can you pay?
No, but I think that's what you died.
We're just dead.
Okay, you're not going to appeal to your team members to give you?
We're dead.
Yes. Well, you
Okay, so you're still in. You're still in. You guys are out.
We're out.
Out, just to take a seat. You're not going to make, you're not even going to appeal to your team members.
I just don't think anybody had more than 4.
There's not enough to go around.
You guys make already?